Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank all of you for your expert testimonies. I come from the state of West Virginia, as you know, and we have a challenge right now as I think the government's in denial that they need the products that we produce. I really believe that. So what I'm going to ask is very simply, the EIA, Department of Energy, EIA, as you know, basically says that, well, for the next, 30 plus years through 2040, or 25 years, that we're going to be using fossil fuels. About 65% of the makeup of our energy mix is going to be from fossil fuels. Is there anyone here, just very quick yes or no, that does not agree with that? Do you not believe that we're going to be using natural gas, coal, and oil for at least the next 25 years in order to basically fuel the grid, if you will, put the grid system, keep the lights on, if you will? Is there anyone that doesn't agree with that? Is there anyone that believes that we can do it with a new energy source or through renewables by eliminating all fossil? So all of you are in agreement that we're going to have to use fossil. Okay. Then I would say that if that's the case and there's no new energy source, I keep thinking commercial hydrogen. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Commercial hot water vapor. I'd be all in if they had it, but they don't. I'm living in the real world right now, and West Virginia is getting absolutely plummeted by the overreach of this administration. I can't explain it, but we're not going to be able to provide the reliable energy you've always received from our little state. And the East Coast, most of the East Coast will be shut down if little West Virginia quit producing. People don't know that. And we're trying to make it. But we do everything. We have wind, solar. I mean, we're trying everything. But we know that the majority of that is coming from our coal. And it's so in doubt now because of the uncertainty. So, Mr. Orr, I would go with you. $8 billion since 2008 has been sitting on the Department of Energy's table in the EIA for clean coal technology. None of it's gone out. Wouldn't you think something's wrong when the private sector won't step up to use this money to find the new technology because they just don't have faith that this government really wants them to find anything?
So, Senator, thanks for the question. The program that you're talking about is a solicitation for loan guarantees associated with fossil energy that are tests of new and innovative approaches to using fossil energy, but with an effort to make it cleaner and with lower greenhouse gas emissions. Again, that's in the loan programs office, which is actually not in the part that I look after, but I do talk to the folks there, and I understand from them that they're pleased at the response to the solicitation. These are big, complicated projects.
We're looking into, sir, I hate to even cut you short. We're looking into it also, but they might be pleased with it, but no one stepped to the table yet. And the way it's structured, there's an awful lot of capital at risk. If you looked at energy stocks, they've gone down to basically junk stock, if you looked at them recently. So you've got no confidence, basically. Financial institutions are shutting down everything. And this government's not stepped forward, this administration, and says, oh, wait a minute. I can't replace 34, 35, 36% of the energy that coal produces, right? I don't have it. But yet we're decimating it. You're not going to be able to produce it. And you got FERC taking low cost. They don't take reliability into consideration anymore. It's all low-cost generation. So they're going to the lowest cost. So they're basically, ask any utility company today, any COO, are you satisfied with your portfolio? They'll all say, no, I'm not. We're not diversified enough. We got our eggs in one basket. We get smacked, we're going to get smacked hard. And the country's going to be in jeopardy. But for some reason, just a blind eye to all this. I will say that Secretary Moniz has been more receptive than anybody in, and this is not Democrat. I'm a Democrat, and this is a Democrat administration. This is not Democrat and Republican. It's just common sense. If there's a fuel already ready to go, let me know. But I can't get anybody to step up. We got NETL, National Energy Technology Lab. If we could partner up with NETL, and we had our research institutions with the private sector involved too, pushing them, and was able to restructure how that money went out, we'd get you some answers. Give you an example. We do fracking, and now in West Virginia, we have some of the largest plays of shale gas, and we got more to come. We got a lot of hydrocarbons coming out, propane, ethylene. We're only recovering 5%. 5%. That's 95% left in the ground. Yet we have no research going on that basically would allow us to do enhanced recovery other than oil. All we're using basically CO2. So we can't offset the cost of doing the collection on these utilities that could basically sell that, get enhanced gas recoverage or hydrocarbons that would pay for it and make it financially feasible. Nobody cares about that. They're afraid they're going to find an answer. Well, it'd be different. You're going to use it for 25 more years. Why not work with us? And I don't know if anyone, Mr. Augustine, all of you, Mr. Mills, I know you're there and you're watching that happen. It's just a shame. And then, I'm on a rampant here, but then, I'm going to keep going. Then I see that basically that, there's 8 billion tons of coal being burnt in the world. If you quit burning every lump of coal in America today, there'd still be 7 billion tons being burnt, more than ever in the history of the world. There's going to be 1,200 new coal-fired plants in the world built in the next 4 to 5 years. And I'll guarantee you, where they're being built, there's not going to be an oversight. Do they put all the new technology on? 450 or 500 will be built in India, 350, 400 in China. It goes on. And yet we're worried about the climate. I'm worried about the climate. I'm not a denier. I think 7 billion people have contributed, and we have a responsibility. But we're not doing anything basically to curtail through our trading policies that they should use the technology that we've already developed. In 20 years, we've taken out more pollution in America than ever in history of particulates, SOx and NOx, now with Merck, we have MATS. We can do those things. But the carbon capture sequestration and using it because of the energy it takes to pull off of the clear stream is just about broke. And it will break financially the energy markets to where they know it's infeasible. So when they make the statement, go ahead and build it, we'll break you. Look at the Kemper plant the Southern Company did, $2 billion over, maybe even more than $2 billion overrun, cost overrun. They can't afford to commercialize that program. No one will step forward and do it. So this is the frustration I said. And I come from West Virginia. They look at me and say, oh, he doesn't care about the climate. I'm as much an environmentalist as anybody sitting here. I want clean air and I want clean water, as clean as I feasibly can make it. But I also have to have a job and work in this environment. And we just need help from people with you all with the expertise. It's not one size fits all. And when commercial hydrogen comes on board, sign me up. West Virginia will figure out a way to make it. Until then, use me the best you can. Does anybody want to comment on all that tirade that I just... you get so frustrated, but I just want to find out if there's a way the Department of Energy will work with us. And Mr. Mills, you observe a lot, and you might want to say something, comment on this.
Well, I would just, first, use that old expression, second the emotion on your eloquent defense of hydrocarbons, fossil fuels. Look, there's interesting irony here. We've talked about how the Department of Energy was involved in the basic research in shale hydraulic fracturing and in the early days in basic research and seismic imaging. What we've learned in the shale industry, as any of the shale players would tell you, is that the morphology of the shales are very complex. And the reason we only extract 5%, maybe 10% at best, in many cases, is that it's a very complicated environment, which is another way of saying it's amenable to basic research. So one place the Department of Energy could play a role is in the underlying science and modeling using exascale computers and petaflop computers to figure out what is going on. So we can extract the other 95%, and if we did that in a few years, we'd double American production again and really change the world.
I agree that there are very interesting research questions involving, for example, the flow in shales. And I'll say that we would be happy to work with your office and you as we think about how to demonstrate and deploy CCS and other technologies that will help.
Well, Secretary Moniz has offered to come to West Virginia, and he'll be the first official in that type of environmental realm, if you will, that's been willing to come and sit down and be on the front line. Mm-hmm. Now, they've flown to China and they fly all over the world, but West Virginia sometimes might be too difficult for a 4 or 5 hour drive to get there. But we're working on that because they need to see the front line of defense. Our little country, our little state works its tail off, and they're trying to, but boy, I tell you, the uncertainty right now, if we're able, at this point in time, it'd be hard for me to say that we're going to be able to produce the energy that you all sitting right here depend on every day for my little state.
Well, I would say that I've been to West Virginia, and I would be more than happy to come back. Maybe I'll tag along with
Why
the
don't you come
Secretary
with
when he
him?
comes.
I would. Anybody else there wants to chime in on this? Gang, let me tell you, we're all in this together. That's all I can tell you. We're in this together, and we're going to find a solution for it. And it's not one size fits all. You know, there's just nothing else right now that this country demands affordable, reliable, and dependable energy. And we're not going to have it if we go down the path we're going right now in the grid system. It's not capable of diversifying itself quick enough to do it.